Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus blaring up the sirens and slowly counting to 5 as we take a look at SH Figuarts' Deka Red. This guy actually kicked off the strange trio of Red Rangers that led us through Birdonic Power and Burning Adventure, so let's check out his guns after we look at the figure itself. Deka Red has a smooth, spandex, silky sculpt. He goes back to the Shinkenger Figuarts stylings to achieve a smooth curvature over his shoulders, which does mean his shoulder covers may need some tweaking now and then to continue covering the internal joint. His suit details are bolstered by a lot of fine sculpting. His number 1's white outline and SPD chest insignia are actually three-dimensional beneath their crisp paint applications. Deka Red's look really works thanks to the punchy white and silver bits and pieces. His helmet is also topped off with a great rendition of the side-mounted signal lights, which use the rider optic staple of translucent plastic over a shiny internal base. To be honest, I always feel a little bummed out attaching Deka Red's trio of holsters, as they totally mess up his slim profile. They're also all hard plastic, and I really wish they were a more flexible and grippy PVC, because then they do a better job of holding on to Deka Red's D Magnums 1 and 2. They don't do it awfully, as the guns go in deep enough to stay holstered even if they do jostle around a bit. However, the holsters offer no resistance if they tip sideways and gravity takes hold of the weapons within. As for the D Magnums, they look pretty cool. Their sculpts and paintwork are sharp, and they go into Deka Red's weapon-holding hands with little trouble. While the D Magnums don't combine themselves, you do get a separately sculpted hybrid Magnum. It's on par with the D Magnum's quality, and Deka Red has a specialized left hand for supporting its weight as he fires upon alienizer criminals. Storing much more solidly into his rear holster is Deka Red's SP license. This little thing is nicely detailed for such a small accessory, only lacking in appearance when you flip it open. I wish there was something in there, but I can't complain too much given its size. There's also a specialized hand with a rectangular divot in the palm for flashing this badge and calling down some judgment time. So, we've seen Deka Red's fists and a few of his accessory-based hands. There are 5 more hand options, and none of them are matching sets. 3 of them are unique right hands that all represent different parts of Deka Red's roll call. He has 1 finger up to hate upon cruel wickedness. He's got 2 fingers up to point at a dude as he says so. Finally, he has a dramatically splayed hand for bellowing his name. This leaves us with 2 left hands. One is calmly open, and the other is slightly less calmly open? I guess it works as a generic support and accessory hand, but I'm a little disappointed that there are literally no calmly open right hands, with all the options already provided. Figuarts, guys, they're posable, but let's see how. And I'm just gonna say right now, I'm leaving his guns in the holsters. We'll see what happens. So, as far as your regular Figuarts posability, most of it's here. The head is unlimited, and maybe the base of the neck could move a bit more, but it's nothing that's too bad. I mentioned before he's got the Shinkenger shoulders, so he's got these little kind of slips over his shoulders, and the bicep swivel is kind of internalized right at the top of the bicep with this big sleeve moving around. What this means is, unfortunately, he doesn't have like ultimate bicep posability. You've got a few certain positions that work, but you can't like bring his arm too forward across his chest. It's always going to be pointing outwards just a little bit. His elbows are fine though, as are his wrist joints. His ab crunch is a little bit stiff. It's got some range though. It doesn't go super deep, but I think it does enough to be helpful, and it turns a little bit. He's got a pretty good waist, so you can have him do some hula action. His hips, again, they're not very limited, and I think that they blend pretty well when they're bent. His knees, totally fine. His ankles, they're a plastic ankle joint, and the range on them is nice and deep. And he's got a toe, for those of you who like to use toe joints. So really, his posability's fine, aside from the biceps, which is something that I think we all kind of dealt with on the Shinkengers, and honestly, a lot of folks, I think, are fine with it. The big problem is that when you do move his joints around, as I mentioned before, sometimes that shoulder cover gets a bit out of whack, and so you gotta kind of keep an eye on it. Do I think they should have gone for a cut bicep? On the Deka Ranger suit, I think this works. One other upside of this means that this SPD symbol over here doesn't have any kind of cut going through it. Maybe the cut could have been above it, but I think that what they did here works for this kind of suit. If a bicep swivel had been in there, I wouldn't have complained. but I haven't found myself wishing he could do any poses, whereas on Shinkenger, for whatever reason, I found there were a couple poses I just couldn't get the guy into quite as happily. But Deka Red, I think it works. Deka Red also started the trend of Bandai being gentlemen and catering to unofficial teams of superheroes. He comes with the Deka Whapper, a giant pair of colorful handcuffs that really need a better English name. Aside from opening and closing, they can also split apart into 3 components, 2 of which make for useful melee weapons in the hands of a true friend of justice. If you can deal with his Shinkenger-style shoulders and stiff sidearm holsters, Deka Red's only major flaw is the lack of a calmly open right hand. And really, this is a guy that'll either be in a wild pose or wielding his firearms on 99% of the shelves that he inhabits. The officers of the SPD have got a pretty good fan following in the post-mortem of their TV show, and I'm confident any fan of the team will enjoy this Figuarts release. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus, and... oh, hey, I have a text message. Hate Saburo. Excuse me.